Hello, and today we're going to learn how to use Gale's Opposing Viewpoints database. Opposing Viewpoints is a database paid for by the high school that provides different articles on controversial issues. And I'm going to show you how to access, use, and cite the information in Opposing Viewpoints today. So to start off, go to the Daniel Hand website, and once you're at the Daniel Hand website, you're going to go to Library Media Center, and once you're at the Library Media Center, you're going to click on Databases and then Opposing Viewpoints. It's going to ask you for a code when you click on the link, and you could access Opposing Viewpoints from any computer as long as it's connected to the internet. So you can do this from home or from school. All you need to know is the code to get in, and the code is 06443. And this is the opening page for Opposing Viewpoints. Now, Opposing Viewpoints is more database for current issues, current events. If you're looking to do a research paper on more of a historical topic, you'd be better off going to ABC Clio, which is more focused on history. Opposing Viewpoints is more current. And on the opening page, if you scroll down, they have different categories, and within those categories they have subcategories. So you could browse through these, or if you want to look at all the categories and all the topics all in one shot, I could click on Browse Issues, and once I get to the Browse Issues page, I have a list of all different issues that Opposing Viewpoints specializes in. And I could even narrow those down if I choose a different category, but I'm just going to leave them all here. So if I scroll down, I want to do my paper on sweatshops, which is a popular topic for these papers. So I am going to go to the S's, it's all alphabetical, and click on sweatshops. Now, as of right now, I don't have a thesis statement. I just know that I'm interested in sweatshops, and I'm going to browse the page. So I'm just going to browse the information on the sweatshop page and see if something comes to mind as I'm reading it. So a good idea is to read the opening overview of the sweatshops, or whatever topic you choose, which is right here. And to read the whole overview, I'm going to hit View More. And here is the overview of sweatshops, and they have different headings in the article. So industrialized labor, activism, unintended consequences, and the case for sweatshops. Now, as I'm reading this heading, the case for sweatshops, pops out at me for some reason. I just think it's interesting that people are defending sweatshops. So I'm going to go ahead and try to make a thesis from this statement after reading the information. And this information basically says that it is necessary for the economy that sweatshops exist. So now I know what my thesis is going to be based in. It's going to be on the case for sweatshops, whether they should exist or shouldn't exist, or whether they are a necessity in the world economy. So I'm going to go back a page to the main sweatshop page, and I'm going to first view viewpoints. So these viewpoints usually take one side or the other on different issues, this issue being sweatshops. So I'm going to hit View All 26. I can see all 26 viewpoints. Right now I'm only seeing 3. And as I scroll down, I see some things that are connected to the case for defending sweatshops. So government should not boycott sweatshop products. Okay, so that sounds like it's something I can use. I'm going to click on the article. And as I start reading, it kind of gives you a little intro, and then gives you some facts based on whether or not government should boycott sweatshop products. Now, this would fit into my thesis statement of whether or not sweatshops are necessary for the world economy. Now, I can't really make my thesis statement until I read all the information. Once I read all the information, then I can make up my mind and develop my thesis. But until then, I have to keep reading enough information where I could get enough facts to support one thesis or the other. So right now my two potential thesis statements are sweatshops are a necessity in the world economy and should be supported, or sweatshops are not a necessity and should be boycotted throughout the world. So I'm going to read this, and this one's obviously for sweatshops, that they are a necessity. So I'll get my facts from there, and when I get all my facts, I'm ready to cite my article. I will use a source citation here, copy and paste it into my works cited document, and then I will go back and look for more articles concerning whether or not sweatshops are a necessity in the world economy. So say I find 2 or 3 articles and viewpoints I can go back and I can also look in news articles, magazine articles, and right now it says I have 477 news articles concerning sweatshops. So when I get to the 477 articles, I want to start searching for keywords to narrow down the 477 results in news articles. So in my thesis statement, I know world economy is going to be in there somewhere, so I'm going to search for that keyword, world economy. And it goes to 4 results. So in my results for sweatshops and world economy, I have 4. And by looking at the titles, the one that catches my eye is, do we need a sweatshop phase or are we already sweating it out? And that's from the Africa News Service. So I would click on that. And it's from 2005. And this article basically asks, are sweatshops necessary for the industrialization of a country? And that was also mentioned in the previous article or the previous overview of sweatshops. So again, I'm going to get some facts from this article. I'm going to cite it. I'm going to use some of those facts in my paper to support my thesis one way or the other. And that is basically how you use opposing viewpoints. Now you could browse all the issues you'd like, and they're all going to be set up the same way. You're going to have your overview, your featured viewpoints, your news articles, your magazine articles, your reference articles, academic journals, statistics, and associated websites. You're also going to have audio, images, and video on the right-hand side. So there should be more than enough information here on opposing viewpoints to develop a thesis and get some facts. Don't forget, you could also use ABC Clio for historical content and also as well as current issues, but opposing viewpoints is just for current events and current issues.